two of the mid laners at this tournament that have had the least of a proven commodity in terms of their time domestically. But Nongshim, looking at some of the things from the previous series, seeing that LeBlanc really pop off in game number 1, feeling comfortable to take that away, a playmaker for BeryL. It's the Ornn as that safe pick for Kingen on the top set that they want to get rid of, but it does leave the Rise up. This is absolutely the priority mid laner that is left through the rest of this here, so...
God Guo deserves a Worlds invite. That's what I'm saying. Hey, I mean, they're in the Team WE arena, and Worlds is going to be in China later on this month. So he's right there. Just hop, skip, jump, bring him over to. I don't remember where Swiss stage is being held at, but it's got to be close enough that the trip is worth it.
Yeah, it's, you know, I definitely would believe that we can make that transportation happen if we need to, but talk about things that worked out in the previous series. Siwoo just getting right back on the rumble that he absolutely dominated on in game number 1 against BFX. Felt so comfortable for him. I think the moment that we saw this get through on blue side, it felt pretty easy to consider that a lock-in. Lucid, of course, going for the Wukong. You talked about it earlier, Raafaa, but the most consistent skirmish engager in the game right now. Really of any role, but specifically in the jungle to be able to set things up. I think they're going to be pretty happy with this on this side for DK.
Yep. GIDEON going to take the Xin Zhao in response as the next best option if you want to throw hands in the early game, and at least you have access to CC pre-level 6 so that you could try and force some things early on before Lucid is able to come online with that Cyclone, but I'm a little nervous considering that Nongshim were able to, gave over the Rumble so easily. Oh boy! We're hitting all the greatest hits of Dplus KIA right away. They felt super confident on ShowMaker's Malzahar, and it is, I don't think it's undefeated. I think it has lost one game you mentioned during...
I believe, yes. Kati, I believe, lost on it for Viking. Earlier in the tournament. I believe that was to Nongshim.
But has ShowMaker lost the Malzahar game, though? I don't
believe he has. I think he's 2-0 so far on Malzahar at this tournament.
Stats don't lie, Kman. There we go. That's all I need to know.
There it is. There it is. Definitely worth noting, though, that that one loss in the tournament that Malzahar suffered was to Nongshim. They were the team that did end up taking down the Mals. Now, the short range on the other side is definitely there, but worth noting, this is a Galio top. This is not a Galio mid, so certainly one of those champions that you're going to have at least more of a time avoiding for Malzahar than you normally would. This is a matchup into Rise, which I think is significantly more favorable. You know, ShowMaker feels comfortable to, you know, play this really aggressively, and if he's going to be able to get in these fights and just lock down anyone, it really limits the options of Nongshim, because even with this comp now, you either lock down Rise or you pick a carry ADC, and that gets locked down instead. So, like the Mals here.
Nongshim trying to take away some support options from BeryL. While Dplus KIA have a lot of ways to start off the fight and at least follow up on the fight, they don't really have a dedicated frontliner, and the fact that you already have a Galio locked in, which is going to at least be able to build defensively very easily into both of the magic damage options from Siwoo and ShowMaker. It might be wise for Dplus KIA to find one frontliner in for the hands of BeryL.
Yeah, he's been much better at these tank engagers than he is on a lot of other things that gives him a bit more room to breathe with some of the, we'll say, aggressive plays that he goes for. I think that might be the kind way to be able to describe some of BeryL's gameplay throughout this year, but I imagine that's going to be coming through. Very realistic for them to just pick AD carry here and to just lock it in, whatever they want to give aiming. Corki is available, and that was really the first thing that came to mind, is something that's stable enough in the early game, stable enough in the mid game, you know, relatively counter pick free in terms of ease of execution. You can kind of fit it into the comp easily, and aiming going to be happy to pick that up.
Yeah, anytime you have a multi-threat composition like this for your team, Corki fits pretty well because you have independent agency and being able to determine whether you want to follow up on the fight or you're just going to Valkyrie away and just continue to pelt at the enemy team with some rockets and contribute that way. Nongshim, though, because you already have two champions that want to go forward, that want to dive in, you lock down with the Leona as well as the Kaisa for Jiwoo so that he can be empowered to dive onto the backline. But once again, Kman, you have to be careful about something like the Malzahar that just puts you in your place.
Are we saying that this is a dive comp into DK with Rumble on the top side, and you've got a counter pick for it? Obviously, definitely a very different scenario. The Kaisa is much better here than the Lucian was in game number 1 of the previous series, but even BeryL's going to be running his Nautilus back from game number 2 of the previous set. Both teams just kind of playing what they're comfortable on and getting to spots that I think they want to play out. Of course, DK scales incredibly well throughout the late game here. Not only are you playing for another potential Rumble win condition, but I mean, look at the setup that you have for a lot of the way that you can play the map. You've got Malzahar to be able to shove waves relatively quickly. Corki's going to have a really easy time, you know, adjusting from range, and you have easy engage with Wukong and the Nautilus. I really like that, but the mid-game power spike from the Rise might just affect everything. This Galio is going to determine a lot on the top side, I think.
And if Nongshim can get their top side involved early on and just make those proactive map plays, I think that is where you can thrive, because you are going to have a lot quicker options in being able to rotate over to a side lane and play fast with the Realm Warp and the Hero's Entrance. Yes, Dplus KIA have great options and tools that receive engage as well, because you can throw down an equalizer on top of the dive threats, and then that makes them very scared about continuing to pursue into you. Cyclone is a great way to counter engage as well as engage when you're ahead of the curve. And overall, Dplus KIA, they can defensively react to a lot of the dive threats that Nongshim have. The question just comes into, will they have always numbers to match up evenly, or do Nongshim play the map fast enough that they can just overload side lanes with this composition?
Well, and that's the mini game, right? Throughout this entire game that both Nongshim and DK are going to have to function with. I think the main one you're going to be looking at in team fights is Jiwoo on this Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa into Malzahar can be the scariest thing you've ever seen, or it can be very Kai'Sa favored. It's all really just about that positioning. You know, we talked about that side laning. I think that's where DK can really push forward, but if Jiwoo is getting caught out by that Malzahar ultimate, it's really hard for Nongshim to look to win here.
All right, it's time to see how it all unfolds as we hit Summoner's Rift for Game 1 in our upper final between Nongshim and Dplus KIA.
Oh, I'm just so excited for winners finals here. Raafaa, we get two teams that are kind of on fire right now. Nongshim obviously had a very different experience in their group stage to what DK had, but DK also kind of going through their own bits and struggles. So exciting to see both of these teams that have kind of overcome their own sets of adversity go toe-to-toe here. Only one will be able to come out on top and get themselves to that grand finals here at ASI. We have pretty standard setups. Wards being dropped in everywhere you would expect, at least at the current moment. A lot of safe vision coming in from DK.
Sorry, I was trying to steal a chug of water and not ready for the
I picked the worst time.
No, you're
I
totally
picked the
fine.
worst time.
That was my mistake. I waited until a little long. I was like, you know what? He might go for a longer point. I'm just gonna take a sip real quick, but no time to waste here in our first game of our upper final. Kingen and... Oh, wait a minute. I am just now noticing. Lane swap. Kingen taking up post with Lehends on the bottom side of the map, at least just to receive some of the early aggression from BeryL and aiming, while Jiwoo trying to farm up a bit of solo experience into Siwoo's Rumble, and Lucid going to be pathing away from the Rumble. Probably did not anticipate this Kai'Sa lane swap was going to come in. I'm not sure if he'll get a chance to look for a three-man dive onto Kingen's Galio. A little bit of a difficult task for Dplus KIA to pull off, but we'll see if they'll try.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting swap here from Nongshim, because I don't necessarily think this is always the right thing to do. BeryL going to force the flash out of Kingen for his own, but of course, he's got that Summoner's Spellbook, so nice to get that Galio flash on cooldown as quickly as possible. Kingen is in a tough spot here. You kind of have to sacrifice your AD carry to make this work. BeryL going to take a tower shot for fun. Take a little bit of a trade back, but again, this is a very interesting decision, because I think getting that Galio into that matchup with Rumble was, I assumed, the reason you picked him in the first place, and you're basically throwing away that counter pick to get a little bit more gold on the Kai'Sa, which isn't even really all that much at the moment.
Now, the fact that Siwoo has been able to even up on the CS that Kai'Sa has also been able to find herself. Good receive by Kingen with the Justice Punch, so even though he does get tagged by the Dredge line, he's able to knock him up and guarantee one turret shot going down onto BeryL. As Dplus KIA, you can see that they're trying to weaken Kingen's health bar and make it even more likely that a dive could be successful, with Lucid showing up on the bottom side of the map, which takes the Scuttle Crab, has taken all of his cams. They're going to look for it. There's no flash on this Galio. Let's see how well they can execute it.
Yeah, it's a level 2 Galio. This is going to be really hard to avoid.
BeryL is going to be the first one to step up. Aiming, takes up the turret aggro so that he can drop it, being ranged. BeryL's going to be the next one to take it. Oh, they don't kill Kingen right away! That's first blood going over to Nongshim.
Yeah, and we see the counter dive on the top side avoided by Siwoo. That is a big, big win for Nongshim to get that gold onto Galio. You know, for as bad as it is to be at 6 CS at 4 minutes into the game, a kill will certainly even up some of that gold a little bit. The teleport going to come in. Aiming should be just fine here unless the aggressive path that comes down. Siwoo TP'd in.
Siwoo instant flash? What the hell was that?
What? I don't understand. I don't understand when you see 3 on the top side why you are teleporting in to that circumstance. Siwoo basically saying, hey, you know that play I did a really good job of avoiding? I'm going to give it right back. Here you go. He's made some questionable decisions in the early game. That was a really costly one.
Yeah, I'm at a loss for words.
I don't blame you.
That was so bizarre. I imagine that maybe Siwoo thought that reinforcements are coming sooner, or just was not anticipating to be dropped that fast. But, well, he pays the cost for it. Still able to walk back topside and be able to pick up some minions, and at the very least, still on an even level footing with Kingen's Galio, but we're past the 5-minute mark, so the first dragon has spawned. BeryL, does he find the dredge line through the minion wave? Not gonna happen.
And right now, it's actually relevant to point out that Kalix is very much winning this mid lane matchup. He's already level 6. ShowMaker most of the way there, but down 10 CS in this matchup. I wouldn't say this is overwhelmingly Ryze favored. It will certainly get more Malzahar favored as the game goes along, at least in terms of the shove and the push. But Kalix, with this pressure, gets to move a lot more aggressively, and this kind of helps equalize a lot of the pluses and minuses. Being able to get this back here and basically set up around these grubs, if that is the objective that this team wants to prioritize, is massive. But DK, as a counter argument, is just going to go ahead and take that dragon here at 6 minutes. It will be Infernal for the first Drake, so no soul for Infernal this game, but Lucid going to be happy nonetheless.
Yep. Kalix does not go for a roam topside, but the pressure of Fog of War makes it so that Siwoo had to respect it. No flash on this Rumble. It's not the greatest wave state that he's trying to receive at the moment, although it looks like it is pushing into him eventually. Some minions will be dropped and lost as Kingen forces him out of XP range. Meanwhile, Dplus KIA do manage to pick up the first dragon of the game. GIDEON has arrived on the top side of the map. Kalix is trying to push out this wave and immediately book it to the top side so that he can join with the power of the Realm Warp.
Yeah, and that's really the threat here. ShowMaker's making his way up, though. That's big.
Can he get there in time? He does have flash available, looking for the flash suppression under the tower, and he knows that Kingen was the one taking the turret shots, so that's a guaranteed 1-for-1 trade. BeryL, maybe thinking about a flash over the wall as Lucid is now coming into play, has the Cyclone available, but Kalix is able to at least push him off. He's going to be forced to use the clone to get over the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice counter roam from ShowMaker to be able to pick up another kill in return, but I like the proactivity coming in from Nongshim to, at the very least, be looking to try to get gold onto priority members here. You now have a kill onto Galio, Xin Zhao, and Kai'Sa, all key components towards how this team is going to function in the mid game. If this Ryze can continue to stay active with those Realm Orbs once it's back off cooldown, it's going to be an okay spot. 30 seconds now on the Rift, or on the Grubs, I should say. That's going to be the objective that everybody's going to be playing over. We'll see how much everybody wants to commit. Kalix right now going to the bot side. No TP and no Realm Warp.
Curious decision. We'll see if it pays off for Nongshim and if it doesn't penalize them in their attempts to try and take those grubs. As Kingen pushes in the wave, ShowMaker will get a chance to receive it. That play on the top side did at least guarantee Nongshim getting a feat of warfare for themselves, so they are now 1 feet away from being able to have feats of strength on their side. Grubs has spawned, and right now it's Nongshim that are the first ones into the river. They should be able to guarantee at least 1, if not all 3 grubs at this pace, since Dplus KIA a little slow to react.
Yeah, it's not too surprising to see DK kind of feel like they can't really contest this right now, especially with some of the kills going over to Xin Zhao and even the Galio at this point, who's in a really good spot from a gold itemization perspective, at least for these fights. So DK happy to just try and take as much of the pressure on the map as they can. Equalizer's going to get dropped. BeryL just going to continue to play aggressive here. Trade his health bar quite liberally in the mid lane here, and really feel comfortable with that. But now it's ShowMaker on the top side that could potentially get dove. Speaking of...
two-man dive onto the bottom side of the map. Kalix in trouble. Cyclone used by Lucid, but he's forced to flash away from the ramping turret shots as she is going to take one nasty last turret shot on the way out. And credit to Kalix, it is a flash burn, but he does survive the dive.
Yeah, it's a dive gone awry on the bottom side here. So credit to Kalix for being able to make sure that that's not, you know, a catastrophic mistake from him positioning-wise. He ends up doing exactly what he needs to do, but at this point, the game state is kind of equalized out. No objectives on the map to really fight for. Therefore, I imagine things are good. I'm just kidding.
Lehends knowing that BeryL does not have a flash, so he flashes on top of him, guaranteeing the shield of Daybreak for the stun and the CC chain. That is Jiwoo and Lehends picking up another kill for Nongshim, as now ShowMaker might be in trouble. No flash available. Should be easy enough for GIDEON to lock him down. Throws out the wind, becomes lightning, gets the audacious charge, and ShowMaker tries to look for a return kill onto Kingen, but they interrupt the Nether Grasp in response, and Kingen does not go down. That's 5 kills on the board for Nongshim.
Huge pickup for Nongshim in that fight there. Really, really well played from everybody involved. And we'll talk about that in the mid lane as well. Just a really nice play coming in from Nongshim to capitalize on a big mistake. BeryL, first of all, makes a gigantic error by engaging with the Q in the mid lane, knowing he doesn't have flash. He's very burstable at that time. And then, obviously, you've got a nice gank on the top side as well. It's just Nongshim being more proactive in the mid game. And this is something we saw even a little bit out of DK in their previous series. But this is where this comp is supposed to spike. This is where I want to see Nongshim play aggressive.
Hopefully we can catch up with the feed, as seems like we're getting some technical issues on... Oh no! We've frozen in time. So we can get back to live as soon as possible. Well, okay, man. We're... Oh, okay. We're getting some frames. We're getting some frames back. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Luckily
Classic
for us,
internet.
Tonight is the last night of the Asia Invitational, where we are getting 3 best-of-3s in a row. Starting tomorrow, it will be both of the lower bracket semifinals as well as the lower bracket finals, as Kingen goes in for the flash. And
oh my goodness!
Forward in time. It looks like Jiwoo somehow arrived to the party as well, and he finds another ShowMaker kill for himself at this game.
I would also like to flash forward in time and just watch my Kaisa pick up a free kill on the top side when I'm playing games. I think that would be pretty useful of an ability to have. But all of a sudden, we were talking about a neutral game state. This is a 2K gold lead now for Nongshim. They have completely controlled the entirety of this mid game, and this is the kind of pressure that you need to apply in a game like this. The one thing for DK's comp is, while they do have a ton of tools for the later part of the game, they don't really have a lot of stabilization options for the mid game here. Nongshim are taking full advantage of that, even if DK are going to trade a dragon here.
Well, I was not expecting the outcome to swing like this in our opening 12 minutes of this first game of the upper finals. Dplus KIA, I was definitely giving them the edge, considering that they were already kind of in the flow state off of the more recent best-of-3 series, and that Nongshim sometimes cooling down after a full 3-game series and trying to ramp back up. It might be a little bit more difficult, but they're in form so far. Been a couple mistakes from some of the players on Nongshim, but overall, a better showing as they have that 2,000 gold advantage. ShowMaker!
Oh, ShowMaker?
What? In the middle, under the tower? What? What just happened?
That is... oh my god.
Okay, well, the fight continues. Oh, but GIDEON throws himself into the ring, and Dplus KIA are able to punish back. It's just throw city one after another.
Oh my goodness, we just watched 2 of the plays of all time. That is truly unbelievable what we've seen. GIDEON felt so bad for ShowMaker that he goes in himself, and now we've got the top laners duking it out. Siwoo's in danger.
Kingen should be able to pick up the solo kill because he's got the item spike advantage, but Siwoo survives. Are you kidding me? And now Jiwoo getting crazy onto aiming, but it gets locked down by BeryL, provides enough space for aiming to get the upper hand on the Kaisa. And here comes Lucid, throws out the bonk stick, aiming, able to pick up 2 kills for himself. It's chaos in this first game of the upper final.
It's a complete fiesta everywhere across the map. There is so much to digest that has broken down, but DK have very much gotten themselves back in the game off of that play. I was going to say, before we even had any of these fights, we can't count DK out just yet because this team comp scales so well into the late game, but we're going to get a replay of what exactly happened in the mid lane during all of this while we were watching the bot lane 1v1. It's just Nongshim feeling very comfortable to go for a 2v2. Jiwoo even ults in, and BeryL just flash autos him to stun him up, and now all of a sudden Kai'Sa's just dead. It's way too over-aggressive from DK, or from Nongshim, I should say, and they get heavily punished for it, and that's on top of everything that had already happened in that exchange.
I almost wonder if ShowMaker said, I'm gonna mind control Nongshim by inting, and then make them think, oh guys, they're losing the game, they're into the game, we should go in, and then Dplus KIA go, you fell right into my trap card, Nongshim.
Oh my god. If you would have told me 5 minutes ago that ShowMaker was going to make one of the most unbelievable plays I've ever seen, and all of a sudden DK would have a much easier time in this game, I could not have told you that it would go like this. I can promise you that this was not the direction my mind would have gone in, but now DK have full control over this river. They should be able to really play up and forward with this Herald spawning in 20 seconds, and if they're able to grab this, you can basically, say that the gold lead is gone.
Yep, it has evened up, and now Kalix might be in trouble.
Oh, the lockdown.
Lehends is on the way, though, but Kalix just gets blown up before the Solar Flare even comes through, and Lucid was able to sidestep it thanks to the power of that clone. Rest of Nongshim cannot get in range quite yet. Lucid throws out the Cyclone, deters them for now. Good receive by BeryL as he finds the dredge line. Lehends falls, Kingen falls, and now Dplus KIA are able to turn the tides of battle and punish Nongshim where they stand. Damned be the early game, Dplus KIA are back in control.
I specifically remember us talking about how DK maybe didn't show up like we thought they would. We just gotta trust the process. We gotta let them scale. This is exactly what we're looking for. DK just utilizing the power of the Malzahar. You want to play the game as Ryze? No, thank you. We don't want you to do that. The lockup, the lockdown, and the death coming in. Now, Nongshim at this point should understand they just don't really have the resources to continue this fight. While Jiwoo is here, he's significantly too far out of the fight to get a lot of the damage in. By the time he ends up really being able to get off all these autos, his entire front line is gone, and Lucid and aiming are just burning through the entire health bars here of Nongshim, and this game has gone from being Nongshim 2.5k gold up to now DK in a scaling position with a huge gold lead.
Yep, 3,000 gold ahead, and Lehends might be in trouble here. Gets silenced on his way out, but he's still got a heal, and he's still got a flash, so Dplus KIA are not going to waste any more tools just trying to lock down the Leona support. Dplus KIA setting up for the third dragon of the game, and the fact that they have secured 2 dragons for themselves in a scaling composition with now a dragon win condition on the horizon. Oh boy, Dplus KIA back at it again, Kman.
They're just so predictable. They always seem to be able to make something work in the back half of these games. They have another shot here. That dragon stacking is really, really going to be a problem for Nongshim because of just how reliable this Chem Soul is going to be for them. Now, this dragon right now that is spawning, this is essential for Nongshim to get, and actually it looks like DK might just be ceding the pressure.
They're going to throw down the Rift Herald instead and say, okay, cool. You're going to try to start up the dragon. Oh, Siwoo caught out. He throws on the equalizer, a little bit of damage, but the dragon was turned off by Nongshim and still unleashing potential for Dplus KIA. Lehends trying to go forward onto BeryL.
It's a flip.
Kingen gets in the middle of the mix as well. Lucid steals the dragon right under the nose of Nongshim RedForce. Now Dplus KIA just got to kite on back and drop as little deaths as possible. Realm Orb from Kalix will allow them to close the distance against ShowMaker. He takes a lot of damage on the escape route, throws out the nether grasp, trades 1-for-1 onto GIDEON. Kingen trying to get into the mix, but he goes way too deep as Jiwoo and Kalix were not able to follow him on that trip. Dplus KIA still getting the better end of the trade.
It's DK somehow winning every part of that exchange, and Kalix still pressuring out Lucid. They get the dragon. They end up picking up the fight as well. Siwoo's just got him on the DP.
Jiwoo says, hello, my little friend. I've come for revenge, and at the very least, we'll get the flash off of Kalix's Ryze.
Yeah, he will be able to get out of here, but I mean, DK is just running the map. Once again, it's Nongshim just feeling overly confident in the way that they're playing out these exchanges. We get another look here. Siwoo is on the flank. He just walks into the Galio taunt and just gets full comboed into death. Certainly not the play that you're looking for from your Rumble, but at this point, with the way that Lehends ends up going in, the fact that neither jungler has been zoned out of the pit, this is a complete 50-50 in terms of the smite going down with the redemption. Lucid with the knockup just lands the smite, ends up being able to get 3 on the second proc of the Cyclone. And at this point, it looks pretty good for Nongshim. DK have to disengage, and, you know, they don't necessarily have a ton of resources, except they still have the Malzahar ultimate, which I think everybody forgot about on Nongshim. They just didn't have any awareness. Gideon gets stuck under tower, and at this point, Kingen doesn't have the health bar to re-engage this. It's just a big overstep again from Nongshim that DK take advantage of.
And I didn't even see it on the first time around, but a nicely timed Call of the Void from ShowMaker. A 4-man silence of everyone that emerged from the Realm Warp, not able to instantly pounce on that Malzahar upon entry. And it does delay and set up Dplus KIA for that turnaround under the tower. And now, the gold lead hasn't ballooned out of control away from Nongshim, but it's still a 3,000 gold advantage overall. Dplus KIA now on soul point, waiting to secure that Chemtech soul in under 3 minutes.
I mean, that's it, right? If you give them that, it's going to be real hard to be able to figure that out. Now, Otacon is spawning in 30 seconds, and that certainly makes for a more interesting decision because it is on the top side, depending on how DK want to play this, or potentially how Nongshim even get to play this. Could see a pretty big delay of game spikes right now. It does look like DK feel aggressive enough to feel like they can pressure this out, or at least start to gain control of this river. Lehends might be caught.
Oh no, and he doesn't have flash from before. He only has an ignite. That's not going to do anything nicely for him. Dplus KIA now create a numbers advantage on the Rift just in time for the Otacon spawn.
Well, and that's it, right? Is you lose a member right as a major objective spawns. This is what you can't be doing if you're Nongshim. DK gonna easily be able to make their way up to this Otacon. This should be very difficult to contest. Now, Kalix is getting this tier 1 on the bottom side as something in return. They do have those 3 grubs, so he is able to push a lot more efficiently than maybe you would expect, but this is certainly not a trade that is Nongshim favored, and it really won't take a lot from Siwoo to be able to counter this. It's just gone.
Gideon is on the other side of the map as well, trying to set up some aggressive vision. And Kingen, my guy, brother, what are we expecting? Oh man.
I mean, it is. We are truly getting some of the plays that will stay in my memory from this tournament, Raafaa. These are the plays. This is ASI. This is what we were here for.
Yes. I'm living for it. Well, Dplus KIA now have a 4,000 gold advantage off of the Otacon take and picking up a free Galio. He will at least be back on the Rift in time before the Chemtech Soul spawns for Dplus KIA to try and contest.
Oh?
Okay, maybe a pick onto BeryL here. He's getting dropped super fast, throws out the death charge.
Equalizer.
Jiwoo got to be able to retreat. Equalizer was thrown down, but Gideon's able to deflect the damage thanks to the Crescent Guard. Jiwoo still under fire as Lucid tries to enter. Oh, Jiwoo gets clipped by the Cyclone upon re-entry. Kellen gets dropped, or Lehends gets dropped, I should say. Jiwoo still trying to run away and reposition on the right side, but aiming is pressing forward. Valkyries and takes out the Kaisa quickly. And Kingen gets dropped just as fast as he did on the top side of the map. Dplus KIA 30 seconds away from picking up their Chemtech Soul.
That might be your dagger. Man, DK just effortlessly are able to play that fight. Nongshim looking for a desperate play onto BeryL at the start, but he's just too tanky. It takes way too long for him to die, and his team is in too good of a spot for you to be able to pick him off. Again, you feel like you maybe have the damage with Jiwoo to be able to take him down, but look at how long BeryL lives here. He buys enough time for basically his entire team to get involved. This equalizer zones Jiwoo out of the fight entirely at the start, and then Lucid gets to play so aggressive. Ends up getting caught, as you called out, by that second proc of the Cyclone. No more engage, as aiming just basically gets to free fire on the backline here with this Corki. ShowMaker's damage over time now coming through as well. It's just a really easy fight win for DK with their wallet diff, and at this point in the game, now with Chem's Soul potentially available for them to fight over, this could be looking very dire for Nongshim.
And a staggering 7,000 to 8,000 gold advantage in favor of Dplus KIA. Yeah, I don't know, Nongshim. You would have to get a series of throws from Dplus KIA on top of you guys playing better than them in order to find some kind of miracle. Kalix I don't think you can outsmite an actual smite from Lucid with even with Overflux or Overload and Spellflux. Kalix now might be in trouble. Still has flash available, but can't flash from the dredge line because he was silenced by the Call of the Void. And get Nethergrass, bro. Try to play the game safely, but he still has flash over the wall. The Seraph shield provides enough sustain. He's able to make it out alive.
Hey, shout out to all the chatters that hate Roa Seraphs. There's your Roa Seraphs diff right there coming in for Kalix, but we'll see how much it matters. DK staying aggressive.
Woo! Flash dredge line right on top of Gideon. He throws down the Crescent Guard, tries to deflect as much damage as possible, but Lehends is going to be the first one to fall in this fight. Jiwoo forced to use the Killer Instinct just to get away, but Call the Void refreshing the duration of the Malefic Vision, still not enough. She was trying to snipe Jiwoo on the back half a screen away with that equalizer. Doesn't quite find him, but the Kaisa is forced to retreat back to the fountain to recover all of his HP. The first turret falls in the base. Inhibitor could be next for Dplus KIA as BeryL sends it one more time into the backline. Kalix receives the hook. Kingen gets dropped next, and Dplus KIA just might end the game right here.
It's just so easy for Dplus KIA. Their damage is too high. Their front line is too tanky. They can take whatever they want on the map right now. That's 2 inhibitors in the base. Nongshim potentially going to try and stop them. There's no way that they want to try and take this fight. The redemption will get dropped. DK even looking for a re-engage, but this is a 10k gold deficit now for Nongshim. If it was bad before, it's gone from bad to dire. Chem Dragon is off the map at the moment. We don't have that timer up on the screen, but Baron in 15 seconds, that is DK's priority.
Okie dokie. Well, Dplus KIA, even though they're not able to clean out the game just yet, they've set up all the pieces necessary to be able to push into the base for a game victory win off of the next successful fight. And what better way to draw Nongshim to you for free by starting up this Baron?
Yeah, they have to answer, and unfortunately, Lehends might pay the price.
Yep, he's got no flash, so that's a dead Leona on my screen. Now, that should be easily set up for Dplus KIA to just rip this Baron without any contest from Nongshim.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 12-0-9 Corki, 4,000 gold up on the Kaisa. Hard for a Leona to survive, and even now, the fight getting turned.
Oh, boy. Well, Kalix, you realm warped in by yourself, and you're going to get nethergrassed and suppressed. So, yeah, this one's wrapped up, Kman. Dplus KIA gonna take the Baron, gonna take a couple more kills for themselves. Jiwoo now under fire, literally from the Flame Spitter. Wait, okay, Jiwoo was forced to flash over the wall, but now Jiwoo is popping the ghost, trying to run for his life from ShowMaker. Doesn't have the Nethergrass, but still does not want to disrespect the damage coming out of this Malzahar.
Yeah, we get a little bit of a pop-up. ShowMaker's had a great game on Malz. He's got a chance to even increase his win rate right now. As they siege down these final turrets into the base, they will gain their final inhibitor, and they will look to end the game. Nongshim gonna have a real hard time defending this without their mid laner.
That is a crazy stat. That last ShowMaker Malzahar loss was back in 2018. This guy is just the GOAT at Malzahar. Holy moly, Dplus KIA now have the Baron buff on their side. 3 inhibitors taken out. It's just 2 Nexus turrets and a Nexus base separating them from a Game 1 victory.
And right now, it's just the minions that are hitting the tower and just getting you a lot of pressure for free, Lehends.
Okay, Lehends sends it on to ShowMaker. Full-on knock-up in the bounce house, but Malzahar still doesn't die, by the way. Kingen and Jiwoo, the last members standing, and Jiwoo's gonna get burned to a crisp by the equalizer. 5-man ace in the base of Nongshim. It's Dplus KIA with a Game 1 win.
Well, there you go. There's your game number 1. We wanted to see DK take that momentum that they generated against BFX and turn that into a big win in game 1. Well, they did more than that. Woo! They took a gold deficit at 15 minutes or 10 minutes or 12 minutes sometime early on in the game and turned it into a dominating win with their scaling comp. Just everything you wanted to see from this team and then some. I think they played their comp just about as well as you could.
This is what you call a flip. Shout out to my main man, J. Cole, as Dplus KIA turned that deficit, as you called it, into a game-winning advantage, steamrolling Nongshim, and now 1 game away from advancing to the grand finals of our Asia Invitational.
I gotta talk about the damage difference of the 80 carries here. 41,000 to 19,000 in damage difference. I mean, just No, it's not good, and I don't even blame it all on Jiwoo, right? This game just becomes so unplayable for you once DK gets any gold. And this is what we talked about in draft, when I was mentioning the Kai'Sa and saying, hey, there's a real shot this champion does well. There's also a chance that Kai'Sa just gets Malzahar ulted and loses the game and just can't really play, or just gets Wukong engaged, or gets hit by the Equalizer, you know, whatever, right? That there's so many things that can end up taking this dive comp and turning it into something that just needs to play, well, hope we can protect everybody, and it kind of fell off the rails really quickly. You can't really have one bad fight, and that's what happened here.
Oh, so that's how ShowMaker died in the time frame where we were like, what the hell happened? Jiwoo just showed up on the top side of the map and ShowMaker's dead. Well, found a good Killer Instinct angle, but this was one of the fights where things started to fall off the rails for the Nongshim train.
Oh, it fell off fast, too, because this is just a mistake. There's really nothing else to say. You can let your main carry die. It's okay for Kalix to drop once and for you to, you know, seed a Rift Herald at that point, which is what you're fighting over. You don't need to charge in and try to avenge him in every single fight. And it just became such an issue of Nongshim thinking they were stronger than they actually were, and then giving even more gold over to this DK comp, who could just front it back a lot more consistently. When the smite comes down from Lucid that wins this 50-50, the game is in a really tough spot from this point onwards. Oh, gosh. That's rough.
That's crazy. And,
that's personal.
Yeah. Well, the fact that it was that long ago, 7 years ago, is just kind of wild. 5-2 overall in ShowMaker's career with the Malzahar. He has definitely perfected it. He is now 3-0 in this tournament.
That's correct. 3-0 right now at this tournament, playing
impressive.
Malzahar. Yes. Pretty darn good. And you know what? The pocket picks are flowing today. They're working today for ShowMaker. We had the LeBlanc band in game number 1, but I don't know. Do I hear a Zoe calling my name? And then, you know, in the potential future, I'm just trying to think of the ShowMaker picks that we could see spice things up.
If we saw a Zoe just to flex on them, I'd be amiss. I would be so down. Aiming's gonna pick up the Corki player of the game. As you called out, it was a massive damage diff, nearly double the amount of what Jiwoo was able to contribute to the table in these fights. So that wraps up game 1 for us, folks. Dplus KIA now 1 game away from being able to advance to the grand finals. We'll see if Nongshim can find a rebound or if it's just going to be a straight up sweep and an early night for us here on the LPL English broadcast. See you right after this break.